Okay, hi. Let's see. So we just you made a mask, right? We selected and made a mask so that we can now just see, right, this picture, right, and not the background. But now I'm going to show you how to refine this edge and sort of shave off a little bit more of the boundary, I guess, the parts that are not really my figure, but are in fact still the background, so that I'm able to sort of mesh her into or merge her into my other background that I have selected that wasn't part of the original photograph. Okay. Um, the first step, right over here down in the right-handed corner, lower right-hand corner, I'm going to actually turn off, right, the eyeball on my haunted house background. So it's easier for me to actually see um, the figure image. So, and I'm going to start to zoom in a little bit, okay, so that I can do this. Where do I go now to go back and continue to shave off the edge right here and to refine this selection? We're going to go back to that select menu, right? And we have to go back to the select and mask um, option, okay, in order to do anything to this edge, um, and essentially change the boundaries of the mask. How do we do that? We can use one of these, first three tools. I like to go to the third one down here, the brush tool. I'm going to click on that, and you'll notice right up here, I have a plus and a minus, right? So I can either add more mask, right? If I have masked her and cut off part of her, figure by accident, I can go ahead and add back in, here, I'll show you this. I'm going to just change this to a little bit bigger size. There we go. So if I do that now, you'll see that that part of the mask comes back. So I don't want that. I want to get rid of more of it. So I'm going to go to my minus sign, which will actually take away more of this border, along where she is. I can set sort of the width of my brush right through this. Right, here's the size. I can set the hardness, right, so I really have a nice crisp edge and no blurriness, but I probably want a little bit of blurriness, so maybe this is about a good place to start. I'm going to go a little bit smaller, I think, with my edge, and that should be fine. So now I'm able to go in right here and just start to clean, ooh, might be a little quick, clean this area up a bit, right? By meaning get closer to what I see to be the edge of her figure and not, the background, right? So you can see these dark areas here, right, are really this background. To really do a better job of this and get pretty, maybe more precise, it's a good idea to go ahead and really zoom in during this process. I think I might want to go a little bit smaller. There we go. I feel like I'm taking a little bit much away here. Something's up with this. Maybe it's the level of softness or something like that. It's weird, but okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna just continue to go in here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and to kind of carve away the remainder, of the stuff that I perceive to be background. And, I suppose I'm not going to get it right on all, I might assume something is background and it might not be, but we'll do the best. Again, for our purposes, it should be pretty good, but, you want to try to get it as perfect as you can, okay? And I think we can do pretty well, okay? Is it going to be perfect? Is it going to be professional, you know, photographer level stuff? No, it's not going to probably be, because this is just, you know, introductory practice with this process. Okay. All right. So you continue to do this, you know, okay, through this whole process. Let's see. Sometimes, you know, you can kind of go in, especially with the hair, that gets a little tricky, right? But I'll show you some other ways of, you know, breaking that up. Right, and you can kind of break that up at the end a little bit, I guess. You know, something like this might help a little bit. All right, and then especially in here. Okay. Ooh. All right. Oh. All right, so, okay, and so on and so on. I will probably go ahead and bring in the part that I have already done, you know, just so I don't have to spend all day here on the video, okay? So, but you do want to do this in a really exacting, you know, very careful way, because, you know, just otherwise things are not going to seem, you know, unified, and they're going to seem, again, like you've got some weird cardboard cutout stuck on some other photographic surface, and it's going to look really fake and amateurish. And that is not what we want. Okay. All right. All right. So, you know, again, continue on with this. Let's just say that we have this all completed, right? I want to show you some other things. I'm going to zoom back out again for a second. And I'm one thing, okay, that can be, let's look over here, right? So we're still we're still in our mask space, our selection and or select and mask area. And so we have these options over here. One of the ones that's going to be maybe particularly useful is to feather. It is a little bit of a cheating kind of, it's a little bit like, if, you know, we could do a better job of actually adjusting the mask edge, but the feathering, one thing that you can see that allows us to do is really sort of blur out the edges. And they kind of expand out in an aura in some way. You know, if we go all the way out, oh, then that starts to expand out into the mask. And you can see how some of the masked areas do start to reappear here. This helps in that, you know, we can soften that edge a little bit, which is going to help her blend into the background. So I'm going to sort of feather that a little bit and then go, okay. All right, and then I'm going to turn back on, right, this, right? So let's move in, let's actually zoom in a little bit, right? And then I'm just going to scroll down here so we can imagine her as part of the image, maybe a little bit better. You know, she's running, so she's going to be blurry. right? Um, Now, I want to adjust the values in her figure because right now the way they are, she's too dark and she's too sort of uniformly gray for what's going on in the lighting scenario in the rest of the image, right? She's probably going to be a little bit darker because she's kind of going into the woods, it looks like, right? If you see how this is getting darker down here, but not quite like this, right? She'll still have some more lights and the darks will actually become darker here. So how do we do that? We have to actually select on, right now you can see we actually have the mask selected, right? If I go to that lower right-hand corner and you can see the little highlighted white around the mask box, okay? Which we've added to this original image. In order to adjust the values and whatnot in in other parts of the photograph itself, we actually have to click back onto the photograph. Now that we have done that, we are able to alter the lighting in here in her image to make it more consistent with the other part of the photograph that exists right now. So I'm going to go up to my image menu in Photoshop, image, and then I'm going to go down to adjustments and I'm going to go right to levels. That then allows me, a decent amount of latitude to go ahead and adjust the lights, right? The medium areas and the dark areas. So I'm going to pull up the lights a little bit. I'm going to darken the darks. And I think I'm gonna, let's lighten up the medium a little bit. What's up with this? Oh, that takes everything down. And then I believe that takes everything up. Okay. So I'm still gonna go ahead and lift up the lights somewhat. Right, and come on. That might be somewhat better. I mean, she is kind of running. Let's see, I'm trying to think. She's running into the woods. So something there about maybe is looking, that's too dark, I think. Maybe right about here, something like that probably could work okay. So I'm going to go okay. And you can see that's probably a little bit better. I can also, again, tweak her positioning. I'm going to want to go back and work into those, parts of the hair. I just don't like how they're so fake looking right now. So, we can go back and adjust that. But it's helpful to put them against a lighter area of the, of the photograph, so they sort of blending a little bit more. We can still go back probably and maybe pull a few more lights out of her, but I think right now this is not bad. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop my video now and then we'll go on to the next part. Okay.